Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
And now it's time for another edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. With your hosts, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and welcome everyone to episode 311, the Bears edition of your 12th Man Fan Jam show, the show made up of Seahawk fans from around the world just like you, talking about your Seattle Seahawks. Over the next few moments we share together, we hope that you are entertained as we discuss your Seattle Seahawks and they prepare to take on the Chicago Bears. So sit back, relax, grab a desired beverage or scent of your choice, and remember, we will grin and bear it together. As is the usual with every show, we're not alone. I am joined, like I am every episode, by our 12th Man Fan Jam posse, a ragtag group of diehard Seahawk fans from around the world. First, my partner in crime, the yin to my yang. He couldn't bear to be gone another show. From merry old England, please welcome back Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Moses. How are you?
I'm just fantastic, Matt. How are you?
Well, I bring good news and bad.
You do tell. What is the good news?
The good news is I'm back from a very successful weekend away in Somerset in southwest England.
What's the bad news?
Well, I didn't get a note from my mum, which is apparently the new in thing, and I didn't send it to the coach to say that I wasn't going to be turning up today, and now the NFL is going to fine me and stuff. It's just a complete nightmare.
Oh my! No note from your mother saying to fire me because I had a show without you.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to get a note from your mum now. This is the in thing.
The thing to do. We're all going to get notes from our moms next week.
Yeah.
We should do that. That should be a new thing. Note from our moms, what our moms will excuse us from. Kind of like Epstein's mother on Welcome Back, Kotter. There's an old reference for you. Speaking of old references, and I just did. Next from the state of Washington, our own news hound. His 12th Man editorials can be found on SeahawksSal.com. He's always bearing us news. You know him as Shadowhawk. We know him as Will. Hi, Will.
I just want you all to know that I forgive you all, even the ones who did not understand my situation.
I'm so glad we're forgiven. I don't know for what, but that's awesome. Thank you, Will, for forgiving us for something.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here for you guys.
At least you're here, and we'll talk about it at the end of the season. Finally, welcome to the posse from the state of Washington. His tailgate bears no resemblance to any other. He's known as X-Ray Hawk to some, but we call him Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, guys. 2 shows in a row. It's been a while. Next week, I'm making next week, and that is the 12th Man Fan Jam official streak.
Oh,
3
my
in a row.
God. There'll be
Cal
no streak
in this one.
Let's not streak in the show, shall we?
Yeah, I'm going to miss that show. I'm going to have to miss that show, Beats. That's not.
I don't want Dustin streaking. If we can avoid that.
It's not Skype. It's fine.
Okay. Thank God. No video
God
chat.
for TeamSpeak.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank God for TeamSpeak. All right. Well, as you can tell, we are ready and anxious to get on with the show. So get on with the show we shall. For those who listened before, thank you for joining us again. For those who are listening for the first time, do not worry. We promise we'll be gentle, but be careful. You cannot hold out for very much longer. The show is run just like a real NFL football game. We have 4 quarters and even a halftime. First quarter, will give us the news of the NFL. The second quarter, we will, unfortunately, recap last week's game against the Green Bay Packers. 2-minute warning, we'll take a look back at last week's predictions and our scores and where we are on our prediction scores for our show. At halftime, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go ahead. The big news this week has obviously been the return of Kam Chancellor. So we're going to take our whole halftime and devote it to Kam Chancellor coming back, what he means, what it means, and the whole scheme of things. Quarter 3, well, of course, after dinner, we'll have our drink of the week. We'll have our injuries. We'll have our stats. And, of course, we'll have our lines for the game. Quarter 4 is where, of course, we do our predictions, prognostications, and game balls. In addition, throughout the show tonight, as a public service to our listeners, every once in a while, when things are kind of dying down, which never happens, I'll be sprinkling little tidbits of useful information as I help all Seahawk fans differentiate between the real Bears and Chicago Bears in a little section I like to call, For Now You Know. Yes, for now you know. For example, to tell the difference, bears do indeed crap in the woods, but the Chicago Bears play like crap on football fields. The more you know. Okay. All right.
Soldier Field often looks like crap.
A whole show sprinkled with that. Can you stand it? Okay, before we start, we'd like to remind you to share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, despite me, or contact us on this thread or in the comments section of this video for feedback, or email us at 12thmanfanjam@gmail.com and tell us what you think, especially of the Now You Know. And please, no barking. Please join our Facebook group, 12th Man Fan Jam Show. We have lots of Seahawk discussions and fun. All of our shows are posted there as well. Come join the fun. Also, we're on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. Let us know your thoughts. And let's go ahead and get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL while you're out looking for Jimmy Graham. Here's our 12th Man Fan Jam News Hound, Shadowhawk Will, with the news. Brought to you by a sponsor, the Jay Cutler Easy Bake Turnover Oven. Want a turnover? With Jay Cutler, it's turnover every time. What you got for us, Will?
Well, Moses, Jarrett, after losing his best wide receiver and his starting quarterback in successive games, Jerry Jones might be feeling, quote, just about as low as a crippled cricket's ass, unquote. But the man is not desperate because he has not brought back Terrell Owens. This is despite Terrell Owens' best efforts, however. During an appearance this week on the Rich Eisen show, Owens said that he had his agent give the Cowboys a call to let them know that he'd be an option for them if they were interested in his services. I'm not sure what the situation is, Owens said. My name may have come up in discussion as far as bringing me in, but again, a lot of people are going to factor in my age, he's 41, as far as why I can't play. We all know what happened when I was there, and there were some things said that where it kind of maybe fractured the relationship between myself and Witten and Romo. Time has passed, and hopefully they know that I moved on beyond that. Maybe, hopefully they have. But for me, it's all about giving myself an opportunity. That's all I've ever really wanted. Well, T.O., we can't always get what we want.
But sometimes you do get what you need. And I'm not sure what T.O. needs, but I don't think being on the football field at his age is something that he needs. Is it, Dustin?
No, I think that if he is going to be on the football field, he needs to catch the ball. And if you remember, him dropping the ball actually cost Matt Flynn a job a while back, last time we saw T.O. So,
Well, in a way it did. Very, very true.
yeah,
Usually
that opened the
it's
door for
Matt
Russell.
Flynn costing Matt Flynn a job, so, it's kind of different this time.
It was a joint effort.
It was. Hey, Will, what was that phrase again? A cricket cripples the
Jerry
ass?
Jerry Jones said he, quote, felt just as low as a crippled cricket's ass.
A crippled cricket's ass. Crippled cricket's ass. Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, crippled.
That was
Great
more in
alliteration.
response to
Must be
the
like a Texas
Romo
nursery
injury.
rhyme.
Yeah,
But I had to work that in there somehow.
that's pretty low, I would think. A crippled cricket's ass. That's pretty low. I've got nothing to help with that. Matt, do you have anything things like that over in England?
We have lots of sayings like that. You almost want to hear him say with a really long southern drawl, well, bless his heart. Because it's the sort of thing
that was
that
good.
Southern English drawl, I like it.
Yeah, well, what can I say? I'm a professional when it comes to accents. I'm not really. What I was going to say about T.O., the only thing, as I said before, the only thing he's ever caught is the plane or the car out of the complex. That's the only thing he's ever managed to catch in his life, isn't it? It's just not good. Stay off the field, man. Stay off the field. Go to the the newscaster's bench or whatever. Pick up a microphone. That's what everyone else does.
No, God, don't put him in the news. I don't want him.
I want to see a big
him on
fight. I
Sunday.
want him to kick off in the middle of a studio.
God.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Must see TV.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Can you imagine him and Keyshawn Johnson on TV at the same time? Oh my God! Find the mute button.
No, I want to see T.O. go at it with Skip Bayless. Maybe they'll fight to the death.
Oh, man.
You lock the cage. You say no one comes out until one of you survives, and when the one survives, you leave him in there.
Two men enter, one man doesn't leave.
Yeah, I
I
like
like
that.
better
that.
2 men enter, nobody leaves.
That's what I was
think
thinking.
Yeah.
2 men enter. One thinks he's leaving, but none of them go anywhere. I like that even better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. 41-year-old T.O. Will, have we got any more ancient receivers out there trying to get a job?
Lynn Swann called the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, Moses, I'm afraid not, but
Oh.
we do have more about Levi Stadium, which for 49er haters, it's just the gift that keeps on giving.
It is.
Not only is it too hot for people to sit through an entire game, not only is the field so bad they've had to resod it 83 times already. Slight exaggeration, but not by much. Now it turns out that the stadium lights and video board are an airport safety hazard. Per report from NBC Bay Area, the lights and the board are distracting pilots trying to land at San Jose Mineta International Airport.
Oh, no.
The complaints have accused the lights of being, quote, blinding to the point of incapacitating, causing headaches, requiring the use of instruments to land the plane, and potentially creating flicker vertigo for pilots. One pilot argued that a sign on top of the stadium could be mistaken for a portion of an airport runway in bad weather.
Wow. I know.
FAA Public Affairs Manager Ian Greger contains that most of the reports were generated when the scoreboard was being calibrated, which made it brighter than when it was in operation. However, complaints have been made after the stadium was open for use. So, just when you think Levi Stadium could not get any worse, it's worse.
And it gets worse.
I may be a novice when it comes to flying a plane, but to me, there was a complaint about we have to use our instruments to land. That kind of scares me a little bit because if somebody's trying to land a plane, I don't want them shooting from the hip. I want them to use all the available things they have to land that thing safely. So,
But you've got to be going some to give a pilot vertigo, haven't you? I mean, that's got to be.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Well, it can happen. My dad was an airline pilot for 16 years. If weather's bad, it can happen if you're looking out if you're trying to look out the front of the plane. That's why sometimes you have to land on instruments. But yeah, it's just a horrible thing. And I don't know what it is about California airports. I mean, Orange County Airport, they build a parking garage at the foot of the runway, which makes for an interesting takeoff. But yeah, what is it with this stadium? They can't get anything right.
Can we take a moment and go to the board? The Levi's Stadium is terrible board here for a moment. Let's first look at the way it's built, which it just looks like a cookie cutter stadium. I mean, is there anything unique to that stadium? Really?
How bad it is?
Not really. It looks like, it reminds me of the old stadiums in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia where every stadium was a baseball, football stadium and they all look the same. Yeah. It's just real generic. So let's start there. It's generic. Let's start with the fact that
go ahead.
They've had trouble with this. They've had trouble with the field, right? The actual physical field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
They're having trouble with that. They had trouble with what locker room they wanted to come in and out of. Harbaugh had a big problem with that. And then they had the facility next to it. And so they wanted the team to use the new locker rooms and they wanted to use the old locker rooms. So they let them decide which one to go to, which just split the team up more. There's that story.
The Monday Night Football parking issues.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. My assistant's husband is a big 49er fan, and so we were talking about this just yesterday.
Can she be cured?
And she said, "Now what?"
It's terminal.
Look, he's a diehard. He's he just all his life he's been and he's complaining about that. There's no Monday night games because of the parking. I said, didn't they think about any of things like this before they built this stupid stadium? Anything? Did anybody say, "Hey, Monday night they might have a game. We can't park at stadium in the middle of traffic at Silicon Valley"? Does anybody think of any of this?
Has anyone checked that the architects aren't based in Seattle?
I'm starting to
wonder. Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder. It goes on and on about this stadium. It's just unbelievable. I mean,
I love the fact that in Will's story he says it's the gift that keeps on giving. That stadium's like the herpes of NFL stadiums.
Oh.
Wow, I think we found the new motto. Levi Stadium, the herpes of NFL stadiums. I love it. And if you have a better motto, we should come up with our own mottos for Levi Stadium.
It fits because anybody trying to having to pay full price for a ticket in there is getting screwed. So
exactly. Levi Stadium, an inconvenience to our fans.
I just like the idea that they were like, it's too hot. You built it in a desert. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
That's a valid point.
how much common sense do you need to know that that's going to be Will?
Oh. Unbelievable.
They thought it said dessert, not dessert.
Probably.
Nice. Well, Will, any more stadiums or 41-year-old football players out there?
Well, I actually do have a report from an ex-football player turned CBS analyst. I'm not sure how old he is, but turns out Bart Scott is not a Chip Kelly fan either. We've heard a lot about Chip Kelly from players who used to play for him before being traded. Scott's been out of the NFL long before Chip Kelly got there, but he's not a fan either, although he did appear on WFAN. Radio interview where he said that looking forward to this Sunday's game between the Eagles and the Jets, I'm rooting for the Jets. Not just because I played for the Jets, because I love a good car crash. I love a good accident waiting to happen. You have one guy who thinks he's the smartest guy in the world. Trust me, I played for Brian Billick, so I'm used to being around guys that believe they're really smart, and Brian was. But come on now, are you kidding me? He can't win.
Ooh.
You know why he can't win? Because you can't win and tell people that you devalue great players and get rid of them just because you want to. So I think there's a little bit of karma coming back to him. Ooh. Nelson Aguilar hasn't replaced Jeremy Maclin. Jeremy Maclin was a class act guy. You can't just replace people like they're things, you know what I mean? Like they're toys that you're tired of playing with because you want something new. So I hope that he loses. I hope that he loses every game.
He's not bitter then.
Wow. No, but wow. You know, there are a lot of people getting more and more angry with Chip Kelly, and if he doesn't turn it around in Philly, this could be epic.
It could be, or he is epic. You're right. I've already heard a lot of this.
I want a front row seat, to be honest.
Me too.
That was one of those rants worthy of the mic drop at the end. It's done. That was pretty awesome.
That was
if
pretty
he
good.
didn't drop the mic, he should have.
Yeah. Definitely should have. Well, he can't drop the mic, but on this show we do have kids that will cheer for him. Hey, kids, did you like that? All right. The kids dig it.
I think Mikey likes it.
Yeah, the kids dig it. The kids dig seeing the Eagles explode because, you know, Byron Maxwell told us all they're going to the Super Bowl this year. So,
well, he bought tickets for the team, like how Russell's bought for offensive linemen, like trips to Hawaii and things.
Mm-hmm. He bought them Super Bowl tickets. That's how they get there. Yeah, that's the only way they get there.
Yeah, he bought his offensive line tickets to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the only way they'll get there. I agree. All right. Well, I guess we have a love affair between Bart Scott and Chip Kelly. That's delightful. And like Matt said, you know, he does come off a little bitter now. I mean, he was a player on that team, and you know, this guy seems a little bitter about this. I don't know.
It's a lot of salt there. It feels very salty, that argument.
It does.
Yeah. Slugs beware.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Yeah, really. I guess Bart won't be Chip Kelly's fan club member or president for any time soon. That's too bad. But we are Will's fan club president. That is for darn sure. Will, thank you so much for the news. Great job as always.
Anytime, Moses.
Fantastic. We will go ahead and stop the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Lots of shows still ahead. We will look back at the Packers game coming up, but right now it's time for a very special Seahawk Positivity World Premiere. If you listen to our show, and listen to more than one, you will know that we had a story a couple weeks ago about Tim Tebow getting a job, and Matt had mentioned that the show The Littlest Hobo, which was big in England and Canada, I believe, this little dog that went from town to town, sounded like the littlest Tebow. Tebow would go from town to town, he just couldn't keep a job. So, on behalf of the Littlest Hobo and the 12th Man Fan Jam and Seahawk Positivity Productions, we'd like to have you sit back and enjoy a world premiere right now of a very special video called The Littlest Tebow. Enjoy.
There's a voice, keeps on calling Tim. On the bench, that's where he's always been. Every team he's joined, he's made some new friends. They've watched him throw, they've watched him snaps, and he's gone again. Maybe tomorrow he's gonna get a job. Until tomorrow he'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow he's gonna get a job. Until until tomorrow, he'll just keep talking to God.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Welcome to the second quarter as we take a look back at the Seahawks game against the Green Bay Packers. Remember to join our 12th Man Fan Jam show group on Facebook. Email us at 12thmanfanjam@gmail.com and Seahawk Positivity on Twitter. The second quarter brought to you on this episode by our sponsor, the Mike Ditka Barbecue Grill and Defibrillator. Love good, thick, fatty, authentic Chicago barbecue? Sure, we all do. But sometimes that pesky ticker can really put a wrench in your plans. Well, with the Mike Ditka Barbecue Grill and Defibrillator, you could eat pork and kickstart your heart all you want. All right. Let's talk about last week's game, sadly. Will, what are your overall thoughts about the Sunday night loss in Green Bay?
Well, going up against a good football team with arguably the best quarterback in the league, you can't make mistakes. We made too many mistakes. We got caught. We got drawn off on the hard count. We made some bad plays.
Agree. We made mistakes.
Had a shot at that game, and we let them get back into it because we were making too many dumb mistakes. And Aaron Rodgers, you give him an opportunity, he's going to take it, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I agree. Dustin, what are some concerns that you saw about the game?
Early offensive line, run blocking. Marshawn couldn't get anything going. Offense in general really couldn't get much going. The defense wasn't able to do a whole lot there for a while. It was just, it was kind of like, oh man, if this is how things are going to be, this is not going to be a good year. I mean, I anticipated going into the season, I was like, they could be 1-1 or 0-2. Won't be the end of the world because the Rams are always kind of tricky. Green Bay, that's just going to be hard. There's just no two ways about it. But I didn't anticipate them necessarily losing like that. So it was kind of a good stuff. And I was telling my buddies, though, that like even though I kind of felt that way and it was frustrating to watch, I kind of don't get too amped up at the beginning of those games because to me the Seahawks are like the equivalent of an NBA team where you can watch the last half of the game, last quarter of the game, and that's when all the good stuff happens and things change. Because it doesn't seem to matter what's going on at the beginning. They find a way to make it interesting. So,
they sure do. They definitely do. And as crazy as it was, Matt, the first half was atrocious. But fourth quarter comes and, the Seahawks actually have the lead in Green Bay, national televised audience, opening night, home for Green Bay, and we have them in the fourth quarter down.
Yeah, but then what do we do with it? We collapse.
Right.
You can't go. I mean, first and foremost, just to say, follow on from Dustin's point, I'm not surprised that we're 0-2 because the two teams that we've played are tough away games. I've said already this season I thought we were going to do 13-3. So if we're going to lose 3 games, 2 of them were going to be these two anyway. So I'm not surprised. I'm not worried. I'm not fussed about it. But what I would say is you can't start a game in Lambeau. You can't have a game in Lambeau or anywhere really and get your first touchdowns in the third quarter. You can't. You can't not score in the second and fourth quarter. You've got to be able to be consistent, and we weren't consistent. That was the point. The only thing we did seem quite consistent on was some penalties, the inability to line up. You've got to stop these sorts of things. They're not, and it had nothing to do with Cam not being on the field or anything like that. It's to do with a little bit of discipline. And again, having players ejected. I accept you're upset. I accept that there's passions are running high and things are not going according to plan. But you've got to be a professional. You've got to be. You can't cost your team like that. You just can't.
Yeah. Following up on Matt's point real quick, did you notice in the second half that Michael Bennett was lining up a half yard behind all his other defensive linemen?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, that's a thing that's so consistent with him, though. So I don't know who's coaching him.
He did all last year.
That should be finished by now. That should be done by now. That's a rookie mistake.
It is.
It should be coached out. So I don't know.
And the worst part is I see it every time and I start yelling.
Yeah, me too.
And it's useless.
his wife got him to show up instead of holding out. Maybe she can teach him where the line of scrimmage is.
That would be nice.
Yeah. The thing is,
would
it
help.
is worrisome, though, because if you think about it, the last 3 games we played that actually counted, regular season and Super Bowl, the defense, or the team had the lead late, and the defense couldn't hold on to it, which is very, very
Absolutely.
worrisome.
The other thing I would
However,
say-
if you add Super Bowl 49 into that mix, you have to take into account we'd lost Lane, Averill went out in the into the third quarter. Our secondary, we were playing Thorold Simon, so we were undermanned considerably. But yeah, these last 2 games, you got to this defense.
Gotta stop that. But and also, Will, just to say, if you look at the penalties, they got 6 penalties for 35 yards. We got 6 penalties for 92 yards. So we're getting the same number of penalties, but we're just doing worse things.
Well, half of it
Majority
came
of
on
that-
that. Half of it
Yeah.
came on that pass interference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And that was a mess to begin with. I mean, should they have blown the play dead because the offensive lineman flinched? Yeah, but
Yes.
they didn't. You
Yeah.
got to play until you
Gotta
know
play on.
for an absolute
Gotta play
fact.
on.
Yeah.
And it's the little things like that are getting us. It's not the huge mistakes. It's the little mental errors that we're making, and the Rams and now the Packers are taking advantage of.
Can anybody explain to me why Green Bay seems the only team smart enough that when they get an offsides, they just go for it all? What the heck? Offsides, fly pattern. Just go down the field, and I'm going to throw it 80 yards downfield. And if it gets intercepted, so what? We've got an offsides. Why doesn't everybody do that? It's like that's the smartest thing I've ever seen.
Well,
It just seems so simple. Why doesn't everybody do that?
well, I would say that we do that sometimes, like the NFC Championship games, and the 49ers jump off sides.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, that one, right.
Throwing that out there. But yeah, it doesn't happen as often as you would think that it would.
But that's what cost us. And if you notice, the one he threw against Sherman, why not? If Sherman intercepts it, you've got the flag in your pocket. I'm going to take this one on Sherman, and if we get it, great, and if we don't, we're okay. I mean, that's just brilliant. I mean, why doesn't everybody do that? Oh my God, offsides, just go deep. And all the receivers know if they see it, just go on a fly pattern. I love it. That was brilliant, I thought.
Well, I think that's a good game planning against the Seahawks because Bennett's going to jump off sides about 15 times.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of free plays.
That too. And I also thought a positive from this game, as I thought, they were complaining on the TV, why weren't they rushing? Well, I felt like our 4-man rush for the most part did a pretty good job of getting to Aaron Rodgers. Now, he's Aaron Rodgers, and there were a couple times that he got out of it because I think he's Aaron Rodgers. But I thought our front 4 got some pretty good pressure on Aaron Rodgers, Will.
If they're questioning that, they don't watch the Seahawks in the first place because we don't do a whole lot of blitzes.
Right.
It's mostly the front 4, and sometimes we'll bring in a linebacker. It's rare that we bring in a bunch of people.
True.
And frankly, if they're asking that, they haven't watched Aaron Rodgers much either, because that guy, you blitz Rodgers, and unless you get to him, he's going to carve you to pieces.
Yeah.
But I felt we were kind of getting to. I mean, we were getting pressure on him.
Well, we were getting pressure, but we weren't getting a lot of hits on him. I mean, he was slithering around and making plays. But
It
wasn't pressure in a way. It wasn't pressure in a way that was making him uncomfortable.
Yeah, true.
So.
Made me uncomfortable watching him get out of it. But
well,
the
game made us uncomfortable.
One positive I did take from the game, though, was our offensive line. Yeah, we had trouble run blocking, but pass blocking, especially in the second half, Wilson had a decent amount of time back there.
Yes.
And he was making plays when they turned him loose. And again, it just had me going, why don't we start off doing it like this?
Thank you.
I mean, I know we're a running team. I know we want to establish the ball with Marshawn Lynch. I know all that. I get all that. But take the leash off Wilson a lot sooner. Let him make plays. Let him take shots. It seems like this offense, the whole emphasis on this offense is avoid turnovers. I get that. But you can take that too far. Especially when everybody's talking, okay, why isn't he throwing to Jimmy Graham? Well, okay, he's probably seeing Jimmy Graham covered well. It's like, avoid turnover. Let's dump it off on the bubble screen. No, start taking some more shots.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, he's got to open up the running game, and a big part of the reason why the running game isn't open is because Russell on those zone reads, which they do multiple times a game, early on, he just gives them all to Marshawn. And those guys are going to stop considering Russell to be a threat if every single time he's handing it to Marshawn, which means Marshawn's going to run into a wall because they're going to put 9 in the box and crash down on him. Russell's got to take a couple of those early and let him know, hey, yeah, I'm going to actually run the ball. You guys are going to have to deal with me. And that will open things up a little more. It'll make it easier for Marshawn to run. It opens up things for play action, all kinds of stuff. Wilson has to, because that's him. He reads it because he sees what's going on, decides whether to give Marshawn the ball or whether he takes the ball. That's not on the coaching and not on them letting him go. That's him just giving it to Marshawn and watching him run into a brick wall. He's got to take some responsibility there and let things open up.
Well, and I think this team might be a team that has to pass to set up the run, if you know what I mean. I mean, they obviously everyone knows we want to run, but I'm not sure that, like you said, run into a brick wall for 2 quarters is the answer. It's a slow, methodical beatdown, and we're still running that wall, becomes a 2, a 3, a 5-yard gain. I get that. But, we can't go down 20-3 and then all of a sudden play catch-up second half because we've been run to a brick wall the first half. I'd like to see us be a little bit more aggressive in the passing game to set up this running game that we have. But I don't know. I'm not going to second-guess the guy. I mean, we've been to 2 Super Bowls with him, so he's doing something right. But speaking of doing something right, it's now time to do something right with a picture from that very game as we do another edition of Caption That Picture. Yes, Caption That Picture. We take a picture from the previous week's game and we put a beautiful caption with it. The picture that we are doing this week, you see right now in front of you, is a picture of a very animated Coach Carroll. Seems to be arms outstretched and making the O face, so to speak. We will start with Dustin. Dustin, caption that picture.
When asked how last week's game went, Pete felt it best to respond with his best Jenna Jameson impression.
Jenna Jameson, kids, look it up on Google.
Or don't
She's awesome.
if you're in public.
Yeah, exactly. Matt, caption that picture.
Pete Carroll, you sure you saw Cam in reception?
Will, caption that picture.
Having lost his game day bet to Green Bay coach Mike McCarthy, Pete Carroll enters the international yodeling competition.
Oh, that's fun. Well, I've got 2. I'm going to do them both. All right. I didn't say do 1, but I'm doing 2. I'm pulling rank here.
You are the host. You can do what you want.
I'm going to do what I want. Okay, first one is a little less relevant now, but I'm going to do it anyway. Both of these are Pete Carroll. Come on, guys. Who bought front row tickets for Kam Chancellor to this game? Because he can see him. Okay. And finally, caption that picture. Also Carroll's voice. Tom Cable, don't give me a wedgie. Your hands are cold. So that's capture that picture. And now it's time for our 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
Yes, in our 2-minute warning right before halftime, we're going to take a chance to look back at our predictions, our prognostications, our game balls. Remember, we are doing this for a score. So as we look at our score predictions, our guests, which in last week was Tom Lucas, said 28-14 Seattle. Mark said 31-27 Seattle, but he got 27 right. Will was very close at 17-20 with us losing. Dustin said 27-21. If he had reversed it, he would have been in good shape. I said 34-30, but Matt, unfortunately, got 17-24. It was 17-27, so, he had that feeling, unfortunately. But we're going to have to give Matt the full points on that, so congratulations.
Yeah, that's a hollow victory, that one. Although
you're profiting after your team's loss, man.
I know. I wasn't. Well, you predicted a loss as well, didn't you?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but you did a better job of it.
He was very close too.
The thing is, up until 2 minutes before the end of the game, I think it was, that was the exact score, and
yes,
I was like,
it was.
Oh, I picked it right. Bugger.
Well, and I want to point out that Matt, Will, and Mark also got points because they hit the score of the team. Mark had 27 for the Packers, and Will and Matt both had 17 for the Seahawks. So you get 3 points for that, and then Matt gets an extra point for getting the score right. So congratulations, yeah.
But he had to get that extra point from the 15.
He had to. Prognostications, we did not do very well.
No.
Tom said that Lynch should get 150 yards in the second half. He only got 41 rushing yards for the whole game. So Mark said, Bobby Wagner will get an interception. No. Will said, hey, Bailey will get an interception. No. Dustin said Sherman will get an interception. No. Matt said Wilson will be sacked 8 times. He was sacked twice. So I have to give this to me because I said Wilson with 4 TDs. He had 2, but compared to everybody else, that's like the closest that we have. So I have to go with myself on that. Yay me. All right.
Yeah, you.
I know
Game
Sherman
balls.
almost
At
had
least
an
we were talking
interception on
about
that
the
pass
right game.
interference.
Hey, what? Talking about the right game.
It helps, yeah. We did.
Yeah, it does. Game balls. Tom said Lynch. Mark said Sherman. Will and Dustin and I said Wilson. And Matt said Thomas. I don't think you give it to Thomas. I don't think you give it to Sherman or Lynch. I think Will, Dustin, and I get that one because we all said Wilson.
Yeah.
Which between the ones that are there, I mean, it's airplane food and hospital food, but we'll go with that one. Which means this. Our week 2 scores were this. Will got 6 points.
What a cheater.
I got 4. Mark and Dustin got 3. And Matt got 4. So congratulations. And the guests were shut out. But overall scores, Will leads with 9. Mark and I have 7. Dustin has 6. Matt has 4. Guests have 3. So we are soundly defeating the guests to this point. But we'll find out in the fourth quarter who our special guest prediction, prognostication, and game ball is. But right now, it's halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
Very special halftime coming up. We're going to welcome back Kam Chancellor. We're going to give him halftime, and we are going to talk about our Kam Chancellor coming back to Seattle Seahawks. Remember, you are watching and listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam show, now with even more kerfluffle. We'll be back after this.
Hey, this is Matt, all the way from merry old England, and you're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam.
Welcome back. Yes, welcome back to halftime. Welcome back to Kam Chancellor. That's what we're doing for halftime on this very special halftime Kam Chancellor edition of your 12th Man Fan Jam show. We decided, since Kam has come back to the Seahawks, that we'll just go ahead and take halftime and we'll just go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, which is number 31, Kam Chancellor. So we will start with Dustin. Dustin, what was your reaction when you heard that Kam was back?
My first reaction, I went to Facebook and I said, hey, Cam's back, ended the holdout about damn time. That's just kind of how I felt about it. It was long overdue. So
yeah, well, I found out actually Will's Facebook was the first thing I saw where he said he's in the building, and I went, oh, he's in the building. Oh my God, he's in the building. And then it kind of ballooned from there. But Will, what was your reaction when you heard Kam was coming back?
Well, I'm glad he's back, obviously. I mean, because it's a better team with him here, but it's just everybody at the office that I work at was getting so excited, and it was just like, this whole thing was just so pointless. Mm-hmm. And, the guy was my favorite player going into this, and now it's kind of, to use a completely overwrought and probably inappropriate comparison, it's like getting back with somebody after they've been cheating on you. It feels that way. It's just like, well, yeah, we're back together, but it just feels wrong.
Yeah. The excitement wasn't there anymore for me at first either, so I hear you.
And maybe it'll be different when he gets on the field and starts making plays, and we're all cheering because the team's doing well. But
once he starts banging you again, you'll feel better. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Metaphorically, yes.
You left him some Bam Bam.
Oh, yikes! Well, Matt, what was your view about Kam coming back?
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit like Will, to be honest. At that time, I was going through the Green Bay game and having a look at it, and I think I put on my Facebook, Chancellor's back, whoopie-doo, but we've still got a lot of other things that we need to sort out that have got nothing to do with him. So I wasn't particularly, I have to say, there was no sort of, welcome home Kam banners from my house, because it was, as Will says, it was a completely pointless exercise, and if anything, this is one of those real no-winner situations, because the organization is 2 games down, which potentially they would have been 2 games down anyway, even though, but And he's out, and hopefully he's going to stay out of pocket. I don't know what the deal has been, whether they've agreed to waive the fines or not. I hope they haven't, and I hope they didn't do any deals on his contract. That's all I kept
I
thinking.
haven't heard anything about that yet.
There's no
they
deal
haven't.
on the contract, and they've said they're not going to disclose whether or not they're waiving fines. Although I got to believe that's going to leak out at some point.
Yeah, that will leak
Well,
at
yeah,
some
because
point.
they have to file documents to the league saying what they're doing and what they're not. And the only reason I know that is because one of the ESPN or NFL Network reporters said nothing was filed today about Kam Chancellor's fines, whether the Seahawks are going to enforce them or not. So obviously it's something the reporters can check on.
Right.
I hope that they enforce the game fines, but they can repay him the preseason ones. That's fine. But the game ones, as far as I'm concerned, you lost your money.
The game checks are gone. That's not the team's discretion. The preseason fines and whether or not they want
Fine. They can
to
give
take
that
part
back
of
to
a signing bonus, that is the team's discretion. But the game checks are gone.
Good.
Yep.
Conspiracy theory question, Dustin.
Yeah.
There is a conspiracy theory out there that says the reason he came back was because after game 2, Deshaun Shedd played very well. And he did play very well in Cam's spot. And that maybe he saw that and said, oh, I better get back to my job. What do you think?
I think that's actually what they're basing this new mini season of the X-Files about, to be honest with you. I think it's probably true. No, I don't know. I think that it might have been the game plan all along. Because he can only lose so much money. And
Right.
like I said, it was part of the thing where I felt I wasn't excited about it. And part of that was because, to me, it's like it was the expectation all along was that you show up to work. I don't, kind of a weird examples might just be me, but like a driver's license. I knew I was studying for a driver's license. I knew that was the expectation, the standard was to get it. So once I got my driver's license, I wasn't excited. It's just like, yeah, I took care of business because that's what I was supposed to do. So when Cam came back, I was just kind of like, well, yeah, awesome. That's what he's supposed to do. Why get excited about something you're supposed to do? Why brag about that? You finally showed up to work. Good for you. I do it every day.
Yeah, no.
Well,
fair
most
enough.
days.
Yeah. But as far as the conspiracy theory thing goes, I think that the press conference and all that, from what he was saying, I didn't believe a damn thing he was saying, to be honest with you. I didn't care what he had to say because it wasn't something that was going to make a bit of difference to anybody that heard it. Everybody had their opinions already. And I think, honestly, it was all just deflection from the fact that he's losing money. This contract dispute was all about money. And so when he was getting squeezed so much for the money because he kept losing it at a huge rate, that's what forced him to come back. There had to have been a threshold on his bank account, and he had to know what that watermark was that would force him back to the league or force him back to the team. And I think that was always going to be week 2, or I guess week 3, going into week 3, no matter what happened. So that's just my opinion on the whole thing.
So Will, didn't if I'm not mistaken, Walter Jones held out I don't know how many consecutive years of preseason. And my view of this whole thing was I didn't care if he played preseason or not. There are a lot of players that have held out preseason and come back for game 1 and just like they've never been gone. So I didn't really care about preseason. Now when it came to game 1 and 2, I started getting a little upset about that. But didn't Walter lose a couple games to one of those holdouts? Am I right?
2002, first year. Technically, it wasn't holding out on a contract because he was franchised and he hadn't signed the tendered yet. But yeah, he did hold out two games into the 2002 season. And just like in this case, we lost both of those games. The thing with, why did Chancellor come back now? I think that when he decided he was going to take this into the regular season, he did what all of us did. He looked at the schedule and thought, oh, these 2 games are going to be tough to win under the best of circumstances. I'm going to stay out. I'm going to lose over $500 in game checks, but I'm going to stay out of these 2 games. If Seattle loses those games, I can come back if we start winning. Then when we talk about it this offseason, because it's going to come up after this season's over.
Sure.
When we start discussing this again, I can say, you lost those games without me. I came back and we started winning. So I think he calculated this whole thing.
I'm sure.
To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Matt, what kind of impact is he going to have if he plays against the Bears, or let's just say the whole season? What kind of impact does Cam have that we didn't have there before?
Well, I think first and foremost, he'll settle down the secondary. The secondary has, had moments of looking a little bit ragged at times over the last 2 games. I think that'll settle down. I think he'll bring back that leadership. I think he's going to have to win, not many, I don't think, but I think he's going to have to get back into that locker room and sort of, make his apologies. As he said, what's he got to, forgive those who understand and forgive those who don't, but whatever. He's got to get his shit together for that. But I think on the field, he's got a lot to prove though, because let's be clear: if we keep losing games and he's on the field, then the whole of his tactics go nowhere.
Yes, that's true. Dustin, I heard something this week. I was listening to some of the guys, and Bennett mentioned that they were at practice his first day back, and he heard a call he hadn't heard in like 6 weeks, and he went, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Cam's back there." I think that this impact is going to be big from the standpoint, like Matt said, he's going to settle people down. He's been good at directing people on the fly out there. What kind of impact do you think he's going to have?
I think he's going to have a huge impact because that dude, regardless of what you want to say about the contract in the last couple games, well, I guess the last couple games kind of speak to this. That dude sets the tone on the defense. There's just no two ways about that. Yeah. He's the intimidator. Yep. He's the force to be reckoned with, and he makes kind of like Lynch on the offense.
Yep.
He makes everybody better. I didn't really start getting excited about it till this morning when the guy I work with, I work at a military hospital. We have soldiers from all over the place. Guys don't get a chance to watch Cam. One of the guys was asking me, "Hey, so what's the big deal? Why is everybody so excited? Is he that good?" He's a strong safety. Those aren't even the best safeties. And I pulled up a highlight video of Kam Chancellor, and I showed it to him, and I'm watching it with him. I'm seeing all these hits and all these plays he makes, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about oh, that's right. Yeah."
Started seeing Dustin's O face.
Yeah, he's really good. I felt like I started feeling like, man, when I was watching him the last few years, I probably took him for granted because that's just what he does. And then that aspect of the defense was missing the last 2 games, and we're getting that back. That's a huge difference. That's a huge plus for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think it's going to make a big impact on the field.
Yeah, I do too. Will, final thoughts on welcoming back Cam?
Well, it's like Dustin said. I mean, he's definitely going to help us on the field. It's definitely going to give this entire team a boost. I think we're about to go off on a run. We're not going to be winless for much longer. I'm just disappointed in how he handled it. I'm hoping he's the same old Cam on the field, but to me, he's never going to be the same old Cam off of it.
No, and that's a great quote. And to me, that's the way I feel too. I never would have thought of all the players from that team in Super Bowl 48 that you always hear, well, money is going to corrupt the team and they're going to ask for more money. And of all the players on that team, he was at the bottom of that list of who I thought would be that one to actually have this happen. But he did, and right or wrong, it's done. And I think we should just go ahead and welcome back Cam with open arms. I hope he doesn't get booed this Sunday if they announce him or he makes a play. We love you here, Cam, on the 12th Man Fan Jam Show. So there's your welcome back, Cam. We're going to come back. Third quarter, we're going to talk about those Chicago Bears and see what kind of effect the Bears are going to have on the Seahawks. We'll be right back, right after this.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
The Bears still suck. 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 They really, 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 really suck. Yes, the Bears still suck.
I think it's supper time.
And now it's time to see what the Reverend Moses has on his menu for this week's game. Moses, what's cooking?
Yes, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, and this Sunday during the Seahawks-Bears football game, I encourage all 12s to eat the following: a Chicago pizza, Josh Bellamy peppers, Robbie Golden's mustard, Tracy Porterhouse steak, an entree hot buttered roll, an Eddie Royale with cheese, and a bear claw for dessert. Bon appetit.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Yes, welcome to the start of the second half of episode 311 of your 12th Man Fan Jam show. I am your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. And this third quarter is brought to you by our sponsor, the Walter Payton Sweetness Diabetic Kit. Watch your sugars with the sweetest running back in NFL history, the Walter Payton Sweetness Diabetic Kit. All right.
Yikes.
Oh,
Hey!
dear.
We've had dinner, so now it's time for our drink of the week.
Son of a bitch! Give me a drink!
Yes, drink of the week, where our 12th Man Fan Jam mixologist Moses conjures up a delicious drink based upon the Seahawk opponent. So here's what I have this week. You gentlemen have your pencils and paper ready. Everybody belly up to the bar, because here we go. All right. This time we're going to take some J Street coffee. We're going to take some Cuddy Sark ale and some Kahlua. And we're going to mix that all together. J Street coffee, Cuddy Sark ale, and some Kahlua. And we're going to make a J Kahlua, which is almost Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler for someone who's drunk. Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, kind of. It's a Jay Kahlua. Jay Kahlua, one drink and you're making long passes at people.
Make mine a double.
Yeah, two drinks and you feel intercepted. And 3 drinks, you're blaming everyone around you for everything you do. Okay. That is your drink of the week, and we want to remind you the 12th Man Fan Jam does not advocate drinking or mixing drinks discussed here. Do so at your own risk. Please be aware that Moses on the 12th Man Fan Jam is not a licensed drinkologist, nor does he pretend to be one, even if he sleeps at a Holiday Inn the night before. In fact, Moses can't make a decent drink ever. Even his milkshakes suck. So does his Kool-Aid. He once mixed root beer schnapps. Really, what kind of person thinks that's a good idea? So attempt the previous drink at your own risk, and remember that his was done for entertainment purposes only, and always remember to drink responsibly. Okay. In this quarter, we talk about injuries, we talk about stats, we talk about lines for the Seahawks in their upcoming game against the Rams. Our first member of that crew is Medic Matt.
Yes.
Medic Matt, what is one key injury between the Bears and the Seahawks?
Well, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna do 2. The first one I want to say, I know I'm doing it. I don't care.
Right.
The first one I want to mention really is just Jay Cutler, because I think that still is a key. I mean, he's rubbish anyway. But the fact being him being out means that Clausen obviously gets to start, and that's going to be just quite funny.
Yes.
There was a hashtag that they set up earlier on, which was something like "Don't kill Clausen" or something, or there was so many of these little hashtags going about, like, you know, whatever happens, don't watch the Seahawks Bears game because you're probably going to see him like carted off and stuff. I don't
Boston's
know if
life
it's bad.
matters. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it's like, all of
I love it.
It's like that. Bless his heart. Anyway, he's gonna have bless his heart. He's gonna have a difficult game, I think, because of the Jay Cutler injury. But for the Seahawks, the injury that's most interesting for me is Marshawn Lynch, who didn't practice. Now, normally Marshawn doesn't practice anyway because it's normally like for back and he's having being rested or whatever. But this time, actually, apparently, it's a genuine thing, and I think it's his calf. I think he got a note from Mama Lynch to say that he couldn't play this Sunday because he's got a calf injury. And that Bevel hasn't as yet been fired. So Mama Lynch wrote a little note. He's apparently a game day decision, so he's a game time decision.
Aren't we all?
Isn't it really? Isn't it really?
We're day to day, aren't we all?
No, I'm in. I'm there.
But this is Marshawn Lynch, who, if I remember correctly, missed the whole first half of a football game because he wasn't feeling very well. Shoved 3 Skittles in his mouth, went out and ran 80 yards or whatever it is. So anything could happen in the next half hour with Lynch.
Very true. Very true. Those are some impactful injuries, for sure, for this upcoming Bears game. I mean, not having Jay Cutler to throw 5 interceptions is really going to hurt the Bears' chances. and not having Marshawn's, a calf injury. Let's rub some Skittles on that. Thank you, Matt. Those were great thoughts. I think those are injuries that are very key for this game, without a question. We're going to do the stats next, and Will's going to take over for Mark. Mark is not here, if you've noticed. I guess we didn't say anything.
They say 60% of all the world's statistics are made up right there on the spot. 82.4% of people believe him, whether they're even accurate statistics or not.
Because Mark is on a secret undercover mission. We'll talk about that later. But before you go, Will, I thought it'd be a good time to kind of break things up a little bit with the more you know about the Chicago Bears and real Bears, and the difference. For example, real Bears, occupied their dens during the winter for a long period of sleep called hibernation. Chicago Bear playoff hopes also hibernate starting in late December, and they don't show them face again until training camp. The more you know. So now you know.
Now you know.
Will, what's the key stat for this upcoming game between the Bears and the Seahawks?
Well, actually, I think the Bears' playoff hopes have been in hibernation since 2011, but
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Key stat, Moses. I actually went back and looked at Seattle's history in home openers. And since opening the new stadium in 2000, the Seahawks have only lost their home opener. We actually have 2 shutout victories in home openers. We beat the 49ers 34-0 back in 2004.
Good day.
That was the first time we shut them out in, I think, 3 decades or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The first time anybody had. And we also beat the St. Louis Rams 28-0 to kick off the 2009 season. So we're generally pretty good our first game in front of the crowd at CenturyLink, and I
Wonderful.
hope to see much of the same this Sunday.
Oh, I do too. That's good stuff there. We will talk to Vegas Knights about the line here in a moment, but before we do, it's time to learn some more about Bears and Chicago Bears. For example, in autumn, some bears species forage large amounts of fermented fruits which affect their behavior. In late autumn, Chicago Bear fans begin foraging for something to do in January because they won't have to make playoff plans. All right.
And that activity in January probably also involves fermented beverages.
Yes, it does. The more you know. All right. Dustin, what's the Vegas line on this game between the Bears and the Seahawks? This should be
You
interesting.
got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run.
Yeah, the average line that I found when I was looking it up was 14.5 points. You might be surprised. The Seahawks are favored.
Did you say 14.5 points?
Yeah, by 14.5 points.
Is that the best we can do?
14.5?
14.5.
My
And,
God.
Here's an interesting stat about that. I heard today on the radio, they were talking about it too, that there's been 44 teams that have been favored by that amount in the history of the NFL. Or no, I think it was since the free agency period of the NFL.
Wow.
And those 44 teams have gone 44-0.
Yay! Thank you, line.
Yeah,
Which means when we win, it'll be 45-0.
that's right.
Whoa, 45-0, yeah! Let's go for
That's a hell of a
45-0.
season. That's like a record.
A hell of a season that is.
It is. So what is the over and under?
Over-under is 43.5 points.
Okay.
And to me, I think that's grossly under-exaggerated. I feel like Seahawks are probably going to put up close to that themselves. So,
Wow!
yeah.
Listen to the bravado for a 0-2 team. Will, over or under on the 43.5?
I'm actually going to pick the under just because I don't think Chicago's going to score that much.
Woo! There's a hint coming up in the fourth quarter. Matt, would you take the over or under on 43.5?
Oh, I don't bet. I don't care. Over, under, I don't mind. As long as we
Alright.
win, that's all that matters as far as I'm concerned.
We know,
Matt
you know,
doesn't care
Matt.
who's on top. Matt doesn't care who's on
You know,
top.
Matt, I'm
No,
glad.
never. As long as no one's ever behind, that's the main thing.
Oh my God. Well, it's
Oh,
glad
dear.
I'm glad that you don't care who's on top, because I should take this time to read a disclaimer about Vegas Knights. The 12-Man Fan Show does not endorse betting on anything at any time. These numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. Please, God, do not take these or anything we say on the show seriously at any time.
Yeah, we don't endorse Matt either. So
No.
just so you know.
No,
No.
even though Matt doesn't care who's on top. Okay. All right. One more difference between the Bear fans and the Bears. The Bears can stand on their hind legs and sit up straight with remarkable balance. However, Chicago Bear fans lose their balance late in the third quarter when they pass out drunk. So, the more you know. And speaking of the more we know, let's get ready to know the fourth quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
Yes, coming up next, predictions, prognostications, game balls for the upcoming game between the Seahawks and the Bears. Right after a quick station identification. Remember, you are listening and watching 12th Man Fan Jam Show. Half the calories of other YouTube podcasts. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
We have great fun recording.
And now it's time for the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to lead us through the final quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, welcome back to the fourth and final quarter of episode 311 of your 12th Man Fan Jam Show, the special Bears edition. It's time for our predictions, our prognostications, and game balls for the Seahawks-Bears game. This year we are keeping score on how well our predictions are. The scoring is like this. If you get the game ball, you get 3 points. Prognostications get 3 points. If none, the closest gets a point. Predictions, if you're on the button for both teams, you get 5 points. If you get one team score right, you get 3 points. And if no one gets the exact score, whoever's closest gets a bonus point. So, our guest predictor for the guests this week is Shane Everling. Shane is from right here by me in Indiana. He is a diehard Seahawk fan, and we celebrate the start of every season together. We have a little meeting of the minds in a local eatery. And he sent me the following for this. He said the score will be 34-3 Seahawks. Game ball goes to Bennett. Prognostication is there will be 6 sacks on the Bears quarterback. He left it open because if Clausen gets beat up, they'll put another guy in there. I think that's a smart move. Now, unfortunately, as you know, Statsman Mark is not here. He's on a secret undercover mission for us. But we and our generous selves have decided that since he did not send me a prediction, prognostication, and game ball, that the posse will help him with that. So as we go through the predictions, they have been given their assignments, and we'll see how that goes. We're going to start with Will. Will, it's always great hearing from you, sir.
Well, thank you, Moses. And channeling my inner Statsman Mark, I think he's feeling a bit pessimistic about this game.
Oh.
So I think he's predicting Bears 31, Seahawks 3.
That sounds like Mark.
It does. Always the pessimist. Will, what's your score, prognostication, and game ball?
Well, I'm taking a much more positive tone about the game.
Good.
Although
because Mark's pissing me off.
Yes. I do believe it will start off kind of like a typical Seahawks game, slower than we would like. I think there will be a little bit of worry and a little bit of swearing in the first couple of quarters until we blow the doors off in the second half. My final score prediction is going to be 27-6 Seahawks. I think that my game ball is going to go to Wilson. And I think that's because with Marshawn Lynch banged up, I think he's going to play, but I don't think they're going to lean on him that much. I think we're going to be leaning on Will. I think we're going to be seeing more of Wilson, kind of like what Moses and I wanted to see last week.
Yep.
And my prognostication is he's going to end up with over 300 total yards, passing and running.
Can't go wrong with adding passing and running to Wilson. All right. Dustin, I believe Mark needs, what does Mark need from you?
I'm supposed to represent the game ball for Mark.
Okay. So who do you think Mark would give the game ball to in the game between the Seahawks and the Bears?
I believe Mark is going to give the game ball, because he doesn't have a choice, to Alshon Jeffries, who isn't going to play, but will still be the best offensive player the Bears have in the stadium.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Wow, he is just a closet Bear fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's really making me mad. Well, Dustin, what's your prediction, prognostication, and game ball?
Well, like I said with the over-under, I think the Seahawks are going to score close to the 43.5 over-under the Vegas set. I think they're going to score 42 points, which is good. And I think that the Bears are going to score 9. Held to 3 field goals. My game ball is going to go to Jimmy Graham. I think this is going to be his breakout game for the Hawks, right there in front of the home crowd with everybody amped up and charged up. And he's getting the game ball because I think he's going to catch 3 touchdowns, and that's my prognostication.
Wow, 3 touchdown catches by Jimmy Graham. Nice. I guess Matt, you have to give us a prognostication.
Yeah, I do.
For Mark.
And I know Mark really well, and I know that he seriously underrates Wilson's ability as a pocket passer. So as far as Mark's concerned, Wilson will be intercepted 13 times.
Wow. Yeah, nice.
I just think that Mark needs to get a bit of faith in Russell Wilson. I'm just putting him. It's 2 Super Bowls. Do you know what I mean?
So angry tonight. Why is he so angry?
He's so moody.
Well, he texted me and said he was thinking about maybe making it a Devin Hester breaks the record for most returns in a game for a touchdown. So he was up in the air about that one.
But that'd be hard since he's at Atlanta right now.
Angry.
I know.
I know, man.
So angry. You want my game stuff now?
No, why not? Go for it.
Okay. My score is going to be Seattle 31, Chicago 17. My prognostication is I think Clausen will be intercepted 3 times and Chancellor will get the first of those. And the place will go into a riot.
Okay.
And the game ball I'm going to give to Doug Baldwin.
Oh, nice. Having a wonderful season, by the way, Doug is.
Mm-hmm. Certainly is.
He definitely is. Well, it's my turn, and I guess Mark's all taken care of, so I can just worry about myself, which is what I usually do. Thank you all. You're a great audience. It's the home opener. Cam's backup quarterback for the visitor. Must win for the Seahawks. A well-rested group of 12s, ready to take their frustration out on the eardrums of whoever gets in the way. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, this has the makings of a punishing game for Chicago, but the last 7 out of 10 times these two have played, the winner has won by 7 or less points. Not this time, though. 12s are hungry, Cam's hungry, your team's hungry, and it's time to eat! Watch the Seahawk defense force 4 turnovers this week. That is my prognostication. Watch my game ball recipient, Jimmy Graham. Yes, I'm with you on this. Take over the game. And watch the Seahawks roll over the Bears. Oh, it's time for a bear hunt, my friends. By a score of Seahawks 31, Bears 16. Well. Looks like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12th Man Fan Jam to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us. It was, as usual, a show that raised the bar here at the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. We certainly hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something along the way. What did we learn in this evening's podcast / YouTube show? Well, we learned that Matt doesn't care who's on top. We learned that Levi Stadium is now going to be referred to as Levi Stadium herpes of NFL stadiums. And we've learned that we should never shoot from the hip to land a plane. And we've learned that you can be as low as a crippled cricket's ass. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt from merry old England, our news hound, Shadowhawk Will, and Dustin as the Beaver. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church Seahawk Positivity saying enjoy the game Sunday and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!